Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. Today we will start with class 9 science. In that we will study chapter 8 that comes under physics portion. The title of our today's topic and chapter is motion. Hi, I am Abhishek Sharma and quickly let us see today's topics. Today we are going to start with the introduction part. In that we will see certain examples of motion. Then we will go for types of motion. Next topic will be describing motion, few terms related to how we can describe the motion. Then we will have a quick lookout on what is called distance, displacement. Obviously, I'll be giving you certain examples for that to understand more clearly. And we will end up with uniform and non-uniform motion. Now friends, let us start with some examples of motion. In that, quickly think about what are the few motions that are going inside your home. Right, I may start with motion of your body parts. Right, motion of body parts, like when you are walking, your legs are in motion. Hands and legs, when you are working, your hands and legs are in motion. Another example, blades of the fan, when the fan is moving. Even inside your kitchen, if you see, mixer grinders are in motion, right, when it is on. So few examples from inside our home. Now dear students, come out of home, and if you walk around, you may find something which are moving, like people walking on a road, people walking on road. Then you also may see moving vehicles are in motion. We can say the birds flying, you may observe the birds flying, they are also said to be in motion. Fishes, if you see, even in the water, fishes swim inside water, so that is considered as a motion. Now think another specific examples, like is there a motion inside your body? Yes. Okay, so let us list only few examples, like blood flowing inside our body is also a kind of motion. The beating of heart is also said to be in motion. The transport of food, oxygen, they are all a kind of motion, right? So we have seen many examples where we can say that things are moving, we can observe them, right? So let us come to a point where we can generalize what exactly is motion, right? So you see, every time we see something moving, we can say that their position are changing, right? So we shall define motion like this: if position of any object changes with time, then it is said to be in motion, right? So we have to see that position of the object is changing with time, then only we can say that the object is in motion. Even if you see sunrise, many phenomena like sunrise, sunset, you can see the moon, the eclipse, these phenomena are also related with motion, right? Now let us go to the next topic, that is types of motion. See, most motion may be complex. Some objects may move in a straight line while others take a circular path. Now some objects may rotate also and few others may vibrate also, right? So there may be situations involving combination as well, like if you see a car moving on a road, even if the car is moving in a straight line, that is linear motion, but the wheels, if you see, they are doing rotational motion, right? So many examples are there in which we see combination of different motion, right? So if we list out some simple types of motion, there may be linear motion, that is motion in a straight line. That next comes circular motion. You see the blades of the fan, they are moving circular. Next is rotational motion. Rotational motion example, you see the earth rotates on its axis. So if any object is rotating with respect to an axis, that is called rotational motion. Then we have periodic motion. So if a type of motion is repeated in a fixed interval of time, like you see revolution of earth, that is a periodic motion. The movement of clock, the hands of clock, they are periodic motion. Some type of motion also includes vibration, so that is vibratory motion, right? So likewise we can list out many types of motion, right? And we can have many examples based on each type of motion. Now I shall end up with a very specific example. You see there are few motion which can be controlled, right? And there are few motion which are uncontrolled, right? Obviously they are not official definition, but I would like to like you to pay attention on these uncontrolled motion. Like you see tsunami, right? Tsunami motion of waves, but it is uncontrolled, while control is the speed of fan, right? So few motion which we can control are controlled motion, but few like tsunami, like flood, like cyclone, right, they cannot be controlled, but still they are example of motion. The next topic, that is describing motion, and we will discuss various terms related to this. Now it is very necessary to decide the position of the body if we want to know or we want to describe its motion. The point which is used as a reference to indicate the position of a body is called a reference point. So the first term related to description of motion is reference point. Now again, let me tell you what is reference point. It is a point which is used as a reference. It is a point which is used as a reference to indicate the position of an object, right? Now even if you are confused in this, let me give you an example, right? If someone asks where is Gandhinagar, right? If someone asks where is Gandhinagar, now this question have many answers, right? Because Gandhinagar is surrounded by many different places, so there might be the position of Gandhinagar might be different from each and every places, right? For example, if we say it is Gandhinagar, I'm indicating as G, Gandhinagar is 30 kilometers from Ahmedabad, right? But the same place Gandhinagar is 130 kilometers from Vadodara, right? You see, if we take the starting point as Ahmedabad, so Gandhinagar will only be 30 kilometers far. So here in this case Ahmedabad is our reference point, right? If we choose Ahmedabad as reference point, 30-kilometer distance will be the position of Gandhinagar. But if you take reference point as Vadodara, right? So then in that case the distance will increase, right? So it is very important that we must determine a reference point when we have to describe any position of the body from where we are measuring the distance, right? So I hope reference point is clear. It is a point which is used as a reference to indicate the position of object. Now other two very important thing or terms related to motion is distance, right? What is distance? It is the length of the path. In short, we can define distance as it is length of the path object travels with time, right? So it is the total length of the path which an object covers or travels with time. Suppose we start from point A, object reaches to point B, and the distance is 5 centimeters. So path length is 5 centimeter. We can say the distance is 5 centimeter, right? If in case suppose the object starts from A, goes to B, then it comes to C, and then again it goes to D, right? If here it is 2 kilometer, here it is 1 kilometer, here it is 3 kilometer. So in that case, what will be the distance travel? It will be the total length of the path travel. You see, in the first case, I'll write distance. In the first case, the object travels A to B, then the object travels B to C, then the object travels C to D. So let us quickly find out what is the total path length the object has traveled. So it is 2 kilometer plus 1 kilometer plus 3 kilometer, right? So overall from A to D, what is the total distance? It is 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 3 6 kilometer. So what is distance? It is the length of the path the object travels with time. Another very important point that is after distance, that is displacement. And again, as we had a very short definition for distance, we will have a short definition of displacement. It is the change in position. It is the change in position of the body with time, right? Or we can also say that it is the shortest distance traveled by the object, right? So if you have to find out displacement, you will find it as final position where the object has stopped, final position minus what was the initial position, right? So that will give you only the final and the initial positions difference, and that will be nothing but the shortest distance. Let us consider an example in this. Let us consider that object was initially at point A, right? Then it went 5 kilometer to point B, right? Then the object goes towards C, that is 2 kilometer, and then the object goes over here to point D, that is again 5 kilometer, right? So in this case, if you want to find out the distance, in short we will be adding, it will be A to B 5 plus 2 plus 5. So if you want to find out the distance, it will be 5 kilometer plus 2 kilometer plus 5, that is 12 kilometer. That is the distance. But if you have to find out the displacement, you have to take care about the final position. You see, this is the final position, right? Here I am writing this is the final position and this was the initial position, right? You see carefully, this is the final position and this is the initial position. Now even though it takes a very long route, what is the only shortest distance? This shortest distance is this much, right? You see I have highlighted this, and this distance, if you see carefully, is nothing but 2 kilometers only, right? So even if the object travels so much distance, the shortest distance it travels is the difference between final and initial, and that is nothing but only 2 kilometer, right? So displacement is the shortest distance, you will be finding like this, right? And distance is the total path length. Clear? Now one thing I would like to give you as a note, that displacement of an object can also be 0, in which case the displacement is 0. Suppose you start with this point and you travel in a circular path and you come back to original point, right? So if you are moving in a circle and you are completing one full round, so your initial will be nothing but the final position, right? So if initial position is same as the final position, so you haven't moved at all, right? So even if you have covered a long distance, but if your initial and final position are same, in that case displacement will become 0. In that case displacement will be 0. So this is a case which you have to remember. You can form your own examples of displacement. Suppose you started from your home and gone to school, which is a bit far away, and from school if you are coming back to home, right? So your initial position was home, your final position is home, so displacement becomes 0. So you are not displacing at all, even you have gone through school and came back, distance is positive but displacement is 0. Also note that displacement can be positive, it can be 0 as well, it can also be negative, right? Now moving on to the last topic of today, and that is uniform and non-uniform motion. Again, it is nothing but the type of motion, right? And now we can define uniform and non-uniform motion by using only two things, that is time and distance, right? So if let us take an example, that if we want to go from place A to place B, which is 50 kilometers away, right? And let us take two separate examples of this motion. I'm writing the time also, and I'm writing let us say vehicle 1 and vehicle 2. Two vehicles are going from A to B. Now if we start from 8 o'clock, suppose we take 8 a.m., right? Both the vehicles are at 0 kilometers, right? They will start the motion now. If in 1 hour one vehicle moves 10 kilometer, another vehicle moves 5 kilometer, right? Still lot of distance left. So in the next hour, if we see, if the vehicle has moved 10 kilometer, this vehicle has moved 15 kilometer. In the next hour, if the vehicle moves 10 kilometer, this vehicle moves 10 kilometer. At 12 p.m., vehicle 1 again moves 10 kilometer, and here we have 15 kilometer. At 1 p.m., finally this object moves 10 kilometer and this object moves 5 kilometer, right? So if we see, both the vehicles have completed 50 kilometers, right? So they have reached from A to B. If you take care of the kind of motion that they did, right, in every 1 hour, you see, in every 1 hour the object vehicle 1 is traveling 10 kilometer. In every 1 hour, you see, from 8 to 9 10 kilometer, 9 to 10 10 kilometer, 11 to 12 it moves 10 kilometer, and 12 to 1 it moves 10 kilometer. So So you see, in every 1 hour interval, vehicle 1 is moving 10 kilometers, right? So what we can say about vehicle 1? Vehicle 1 is moving equal distance in equal time, right? And now you see about vehicle 2, right? In 1 hour, the vehicle 2, in the first 1 hour, vehicle 2 moves only 5 kilometers. In the next 1 hour, it moves from 5 to 15 kilometers, right? So you see, the distance traveled is not constant, right? For some 1 hour it moves 5 kilometers, for some 1 hour it moves 15 kilometers, right? So here we can say about vehicle 2 that it travels unequal distance in equal interval of time, right? So what is the difference between vehicle 1 and vehicle 2? Here we have seen in 1 hour equal intervals of time, equal distance. In this vehicle, even if we are taking equal intervals of time, it is not moving equal distance. Sometimes it is 5, sometimes it is 10, sometimes it is 15, right? So that is how we define uniform and non-uniform motion. If in case the object travel equal distance in equal time, it is said to be in uniform motion. And if the object is not traveling equal distance, like it is traveling unequal distance in equal interval of time, so it is called non-uniform motion. So I hope you have understood well from this example and table. If you are confused in any point, you can review the video, you can watch it again and again, right? So I feel that's it for today. Happy learning.